Hey folks, y'all see the title. Now, let me put a little perfunctory in because I actually read the story on AP, then watched the video that I'm about ready to show you guys, and I even made a comment to some people. Now, this ain't no diss. A lot of people are, because you know the definition of the word ignorant just means that you don't know. It don't mean you're stupid. Don't mean you're dumb. Those words have their own definition. And stupid and dumb, sometimes they're synonymous, but actually they're different. But I'm not going to go into that. I actually explained that before. Some people are just flat out ignorant about the scene, about what's going on, whether we like it or not, because I don't like it. But just because I don't like it don't mean that I don't understand how things work. And this lady, she had commented, I'm still shocked that our military hasn't stepped up to close the border or the Supreme Court to stop this. Treason, that's what this is. Ma'am, the military falls under the command of the commander-in-chief. Now, the National Guard falls under the command of the governor. National Guard belongs to the state. The standing armies, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and the Army Reserve belongs to the commander-in-chief, which is your sitting president. Okay? Massachusetts National Guard under the governor's control. Illinois National Guard, governor's control. Michigan National Guard, governor. Texas National Guard, and Texas Air National Guard. Yes, boys and girls, Texas has its own Air Force. Yes, we do. You know, with Texas, we just got to be special. Special ed sometime, but special nonetheless. But people make these statements and they probably really just have no idea and go off of emotion, which is easy because not being a DICK, but it is a female. And I expect emotions out of females. When I get facts first and emotion second, it actually shocks me. I be kind of scared. What the hell? What the hell? Emotional damage. But, and then so another guy, everyone is complicit. Yes, there are a lot of complicit people, but that doesn't apply here. We just, as a former government employee, you just can't wake up and say, you know what, y'all? Let's go. Let me go talk to the brigade commander and see if he, if he want to just us green light and go down here. And it doesn't. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. And I don't think the Supreme Court. That's not the Supreme Court is not an enforcement agency, ma'am. They're not oh my goodness. We could do this all day. But it will probably fall on deaf ears because, never mind, some people just can't be woken up. Let's go ahead and get this story going here. Governor activates Massachusetts National Guard to help with migrant crisis. The date that happened on, well, the AP puff piece is from the 31st of August of this year. Let's go ahead and let her rip, Tater Chip.
Massachusetts buckling under pressure, overwhelmed with the number of migrants arriving in the state. The governor activating the National Guard as the state's scrambling now to house and aid the latest wave of asylum seekers.
The situation got some national attention last year when Florida governor and now candidate for president Ron DeSantis flew a group of migrants to the upscale Martha's Vineyard neighborhood. They spent roughly 24 hours there before then relocating. With us now, Ryan Fatman is a Massachusetts state senator. Peter Durant is a...
Yes, they moved them from up there in that hoity-toity Nantucket, that area where they dropped them off at, and they relocated them to a military training facility not far from there. I done the story on it, but I don't remember if it was a joint base or if it was, like Army or Marine Corps, well, not Marine Corps, Naval Training Base. I can't remember, but it was within the state's boundaries.
Massachusetts State Representative. Gentlemen, welcome. And thanks so much for coming out and joining us today. State Senator Fatman, could you talk to us about what's going on in Massachusetts? Again, not a typical border state, but clearly there's a crisis and the governor's forced to respond.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us on and highlighting this issue. It's impacting me very personally because it's right in my hometown, and it highlights a failure of policy both at the national and the state level. When, as you referenced, Governor DeSantis sent migrants to Martha's Vineyard, our governor, Governor Healy, was very critical of that.
Martha's Vineyard. I need to correct myself. Thank you, sir. I said Nantucket. Brain cramp. Martha's Vineyard. Where you got you even have to drink bottled water with your pinky finger up.
And yet on August 27th, she sent overnight 56 individuals, migrants, to my hometown in Sutton, and didn't tell anybody.
56. If they only knew that, what am I saying? If they only knew, what we call 56? You know what we call that in Texas? That's half a busload. I mean, literally. You can find you can go to the Home Depot. Any of them. Go to the Home Depot. 56. Really? See, it doesn't matter. Well, they know it's a thing until it hits them in their backyard. Then it becomes a point of interest instead of something to oogle at over the internet or the television.
Showed up, there was no resources. There was no management team from state government to help facilitate.
Who's paying for these buses, y'all? Somebody owns these buses. I've done a breakdown on that before. I like the bus line that they are using out of Texas here that was moving north. It's a bus line called El Conejo. I got pictures of them, even though Massive Dynamic pulled that video down, even though I wasn't even talking. I just showed the video. So the machine is always watching, but it's called El Conejo. That's a rabbit, and even has a big rabbit on the side of the bus. So but somebody owns these buses. Somebody's paying fuel, putting fuel in these buses. Someone's paying the drivers to operate these buses. Where is that money coming from? Who's signing the check? What entity is paying for these transportation services? I ain't saying, well, it's probably, no, I ain't going on, well, it's properly, because a lot of time, assuming, what happened when you assume. Somebody's paying for them. These busing companies isn't doing this out of the kindness of their heart. You can't afford to. I own commercial diesel powered vehicles. You cannot afford to do stuff out of the kindness of your heart. Who's writing the check?
They're, welcoming into the community. And we had 7-month-olds, 21 children. Even worse than this, there was no due diligence done at the local hotel, which the local police department has designated a dangerous zone. There was 2 level 3 sex offenders living there at one point, and the own executive office of public safety.
No one's vetted at the border, sir, but I'll cover that later on. You knew that already. You knew that. Don't, look at the surprise. Look on, dude, you're not surprised. If you are surprised, how'd you get in that seat? Okay.
And the Healy administration sent 2 letters to this hotel saying that their 911 system was out of date and was endangering their employees, their guests, and the general public. So if we're going to, institute some humane policies when it comes to trying to help people, let's at least put them somewhere safe. But this is a failure of state and national policy, and we got to do a lot better.
We want to show this, too, in terms of what the state senator was speaking about. State Rep Durant, if I could, protesters were really out in force over the weekend outside the Yarmouth Resort Hotel there, where the state is hoping to set aside 100 units specifically for migrant families. This hotel is one of more than 1,500 temporary hotels and new shelters set up across the state since last year, at least what's been reported here. Can you talk about that, State Rep, and again, how residents of your state feel about this and being able to handle the migrant crisis in the state of Massachusetts?
Sure, and thanks for having me on. I think Senator Fatman hits the nail on the head. Is communities are being impacted here with very little to no warning that these migrants are coming in, that they're being housed, and that they're being provided services. We're seeing them in hotels across the state. We're seeing other state facilities being converted for housing. And in fact, we're actually seeing additional outreach from the administration looking to expand housing in multifamily units throughout the state. So a lot of this is coming down with no warning whatsoever. No guidance from the administration, and from a legislative standpoint, no idea of what this is costing us. I think if we look at the number of families that have come in, just in the past couple of months, those families have nearly doubled. About 6 weeks ago or 2 months ago, we were looking at about 3,000 families, and today we're looking at in the neighborhood about 5,600, with more arriving every day.
That's a storyline we've been hearing about some of these sanctuary cities or blue states with sort of an open door policy to those seeking asylum. We've seen it in New York. New York Mayor Eric Adams, he's really been pulling no punches when it comes to calling on the federal government to step in. Here's Mayor Adams.
Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City.
So you've had a change of heart. You did know when you ran for mayor of New York that New York was a sanctuary city. I'm quite sure you knew that. You were a police officer. You were a uniformed officer prior to this. Who's the chief? Don't matter. It's still a uniform. Whether you the new rookie or you're the top chief, you are a uniformed officer. I don't know why people think once you become the chief of police, you're no longer a cop. You still carry a gun and you wear a badge. People kill me with that dumb crap. But anyway, you knew what you were taking control of. You just expected for us border states to keep eating the same crap sandwich that all the border states and the state of Georgia. Georgia is not a border state. Georgia has the 4th largest illegal immigrant population in the United States. Georgia. Make that make sense. But anyway, it is what it is. We covered that in the past. But anyway, you changed your tune now. Now, I think with the current Constitution, no state or city should be able to say, I'm declaring us a sanctuary. No, you ain't declaring bovine feces, bull crap, bacon, bull butter. That's a bunch of bacon sandwich. No, you ain't. This isn't the United State of New York or Illinois. No. But that's water under the bridge too. You're singing a different tune. Now you're singing a different tune. I pretty much know why. You expected a bailout. You knew this going in. You was just hoping that pressure would make Side Road Joe capitulate. and then funneled some coin in over there to help fix the problem. Well, it didn't come. And now the heat is on. The heat is on. It's on the street. And your illegals is you getting to see what we see down here. The ones that attacked them girls. Was the other one that jumped on them people at the cell phone store? The illegals that raided that guy's. I don't know if it's a hot dog stand, a sandwich stand, or whatnot. It was up on the NBC affiliate there in New York for like 2 days, and then now you go back to the website and the story is gone. I guess that's supposed to mean we didn't see it. They didn't pull out that brain flashy thing that Will Smith and them using the Men in Black to erase the memory of us that saw it, when I guess that story wasn't supposed to make the press. Where they done bum rushed this guy with his sandwich or hot dog stand, and the one thing he remembered is they didn't speak English. Well, that could have been anybody. You know who said that, right? If you know what group, class, race of people said that, then we tracking. Let's go. Let's go.
When you think of it, Senator Fatman, that is a devastating prediction that we've just heard from the mayor there. Do you see something similar in your home state?
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at New York City, they're a right to shelter city. If you look at Massachusetts, we're a right to shelter state. In fact, we're the only one in the entire nation. A law that was passed in 1983 and modified in 1991 that took out a residency requirement, saying that if you were coming and you had a family situation with children, you had a right to shelter as long as you were willing to be here legally and permanently. And that changed in 1991. Back in May, we took up the state budget and I put an amendment forward to try to close the loophole in that language because I saw this problem coming. I saw it in.
Don't worry, y'all. I'm going to hip y'all to a little piece of something that's been a part of legislation, and I'm going to give you some immigration history, shorthand version, of course. I'll give you enough food for it to tickle your taste buds, your palate there, and so you can use that to do some research on your own time. It's not hard to find. It is very, very easy. Onward.
New York. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize when you're the only state in the nation that has a law in the books that says we're a right to shelter state, that they're coming here. And we need, as Peter mentioned, to get the administration to be more communicative and more competent when it comes to the management. I know that they've decided to bring up the National Guard. Well, when they communicated that to me, I said, well, how many is my hometown going to get? How many guardsmen or women? And they said one. There's now 120 migrants that are living in this dangerous facility of a hotel. It's unacceptable. It's hypocrisy at its finest, and it's a failure in policy, and we've got to have change.
Look, not to mention a lot of these urban areas already are dealing with a homeless crisis. The Americans that are homeless here. Now you're adding this to this crisis to the pile there. We appreciate the time of State Senator Ryan Fatman, State Representative Peter Durant there. Thank you so much.
Gentlemen, appreciate it. All right.
Now, hold what you got. Hold what you got. Okay, now we ain't gonna go through this whole thing. You can pause this, and so you can use if you want to use this as a jump off point. This is from DHS Department, which y'all know what DHS stands for, Department of Homeland Security .gov, DHS.gov. Okay, now let me see. Let me get you. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of history and this, that, and other. But let's get this straight off the paper. Okay. While recent supply. The traffic bar system. Okay, here we go. All right, because you got this. The third country asylum rule. Okay. basically what this saying is you can't leapfrog other countries to go to another place to claim that you're seeking asylum for persecution and whatnot. So anyway, let's go ahead and get it. Just these right quick. The bar is subject to three limited exceptions, including an alien who demonstrates that he or she applied for protection from persecution or torture in at least one of the countries which the alien transitioned en route to the United States, and the alien received a final judgment denying the alien protection in such country. What they saying is, okay, let's say you're coming from Chile, Bolivia, Honduras, okay, El Salvador, okay. You can't just skip through Mexico because Mexico isn't persecuting Bolivians, Chileans, Hondurans, and Salvadorians, okay? So you supposed to go there and apply, and apply for protection from there. And then, and only then, if Mexico deny you alien protection, then you can go to the next country. You see what I'm saying? So in Chile, you go, okay, you get to Salvador, you tell them this. Or Honduras, then you tell them this. And then you apply, and they say, nah. The next country, go to the next country. You apply, they say, nah. Then you just can't skip over all of them and come to the United States. An alien who demonstrates that he or she satisfies the definition of victim of a severe form of trafficking in persons, and you see the provision that, see it right there, or an alien who has transited en route to the United States through only a country or countries that were not parties of the 1951 Convention relating to the status of refugees, the 1967 Protocol, or the Convention Against Torture and other cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment. That don't apply to none of these people. That don't apply to none of these people. The United States is violating its own laws. This is from DHS's website, dated 2019. Even though we know the 1951 convention goes back to 1951. We know that. I don't think any of us was alive then. Maybe OG Speed, he might be the only one. I definitely wasn't alive. I wasn't even nowhere near being alive. I was born in the 60s, not the 50s. Yeah, I'm that old. But maybe J Speed, I don't know. Baba Rasan, maybe. But I don't think nobody else, none of us was. But just because we weren't here doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Now, this is one deal that I remember that it used to be, and you can look this up. And I say, don't take my word for nothing, because I ain't going to pull that up. We'll be here all day. There used to be a 10-year breakwater to get the people that they bring in to assimilate. It used to be a 10-year breakwater. So basically what would happen was you let in X amount people, right? X amount people to come in. I'm going to pull a number out of the sky, 5,000 people, right? That made the cut. And they put the paper, you got your papers and everything else, and they got you all set up into the system. Well, that was it for 10 years. Then 10 years later, because see, by the time they bring in that next batch, now I just made up a number of 5,000. By the time the next batch comes in, and even though they run around and they come and they plopped over around you, those people over the 10 years have assimilated to the system where they're living. Well, that's just a form of slave. Okay, you don't like, okay, then stay where the F you at. Stay where you at. Problem solved. There's always going to be naysayers, and like these guys here, like I say, the all this sanctuary stuff, it was all cute. It was good for votes. It was good political talking points. But then when the illegals come and they bring what they bring with them, now you have the people saying someone need to do something. How come the military just don't go, lady? It don't work like that. Now, can the military control borders? Oh, hell yeah. We've done it around the world. I've partaken in 2 of them. North, South Korea and East, West Germany. Sure have. 2nd Infantry Division and 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment. Oh, yeah. And our border was watertight. You ain't going to make it. We had too many guns on that border. Plenty, not too many. We had plenty on that border. The odds of you making it past us was slim to none. Because if we ain't know how to do nothing else, we're very good marksmen. Very good marksmen. The odds of you finding a grunt, ground pounder, or crunchy, you know, or a scout that can't shoot, man, you good luck. You better hope, you know, you good luck with that one. I'm trying to keep it clean so I don't get pegged. But it don't work that way, ma'am. It don't work that way. Tell me what you think. Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. Tell me what you think below.